bitch. We'll get started soon. I'm gonna go with my format I've been using, where I just kind of play music and get shit going. So the first 5 minutes or so is just gonna be this. I'm getting some tape and shit because I'm gonna put it over a part of the screen so I don't get distracted. I don't want to be distracted by nonsense. So just be patient or fast forward if you end up wanting to watch this. I'm listening to Laurel Meets the Obsolete, and I'm curious to see if I get a copyright at all on this, because I was listening to these guys like when they were just playing like little shows, you know. Now they're kind of bigger, I guess. This is off their first album, Laurel Meets Absolute. Anyways, I'm just curious to see if I get a copyright for doing this. Yep. So I'm just fucking around. We'll get started soon. Yep, that's that. Wait, no. Wait. Okay. Pardon me, I apologize. Alright. Yeah, people, any of you guys that like music or whatever, I don't know who doesn't like music, but I think there are people. You guys might like this band. I think they're from Guatemala. I think it's Guatemala is where they're from. Excuse me. I apologize. We're having some technical difficulties. That's alright. Oh, bitch. We'll be starting shortly. Listen to Laurel Meets the Obsolete while I prepare. I like him. I don't know. I've only listened to this first album though. I don't really listen to him except for this album. This is my tape that I use for work. We're having some issues here. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this fucking tape. Come on. Fucking cheap ass bullshit. Wow. Did I fix it? I think I did. Good enough. We'll be starting. I'm gonna get started. You can listen to the band while I get ready. All right, so hold on. That was my boss knocking. I live on the job site, so. Anyone else? If it's my boss, okay. Anyone else, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? But when the boss knocks, you always answer. That's the way it goes, dude. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. A little bit here. I'll turn it down. Eventually, I'll turn this off. Yeah, that's Laurel Meets the Obsolete. That's the name of the band. I like them. But like I said, I've only listened to this album. I don't really care to listen to any other shit. And because they change anyways, they kind of change a little bit. So whatever. I like this album. I don't care either way about any of the other shit. But I got to see these guys like before they started getting more bigger, I guess. And I liked them. They were cool, man. So then I got the album and it's good. Whatever. But okay, so what I was doing with the tape, I put thing so that I don't see whether I have viewers or not. So this is, obviously this is live stream. And when I'm live streaming, I don't really care to see whether or not there are people watching my live stream. And one of the reasons I don't care to see is because it distracts me. Like if I see the count, you know how this is. It shows a count of how many people are viewing or not viewing. And all that does is distract me. So I'll explain a little bit. So like if it's 0, if there's like nobody watching my live stream, that kind of distracts me too because I mean, how do I explain this? Is because my mind starts thinking, well, there's no audience, so why the fuck are you even talking? And I don't really care. But what the view count does is it's like there to remind me that nobody's watching, so why are you talking? And I don't want to, so I just taped a piece of paper over the view count so I don't see how many people are watching or not watching. And then the other thing that distracts me about the view count is when people come in. So say it'll be at 0, right? And then a person comes in, and so then it shows that there's 1 viewer. Well, then it like fucks with my head to where it shifts my train of thought where I have to start talking to appease the viewer, and I don't want to do that either. And and then I'll see like I might have 4 or 5 viewers after I'm 20 minutes in or something, maybe if I'm lucky, right? Which is cool. It don't matter to me either way. And then I'll see like 3 of them all just drop off all at once, and then that'll fuck with my head, and I'll start thinking, the fuck, dude? Like, and I don't want to deal with all that shit, so I cover the view count. I don't want to see how many people are watching versus not watching, because it's not. I have no interest either way in that. Okay. Now, as far as people commenting, of course I do. Like if somebody comments, I'm gonna, or like if they have a comment that they want me to see, if they're commenting, then I would assume they want me to see it, and I will definitely, read the comment. And comments have been good. This is like my 4th live stream, I think. And even people that disagree with me in the comments, it's fine, so far. I don't really care generally I don't really care if I agree with other people or if they agree with me or not. And I think it's because I'm not really trying to convince people to agree with me. I'm just trying to understand. It is one of the reasons why is like if I have somebody in my comments and they have a differing viewpoint than mine that's not in agreement with my viewpoint, I want to understand it. I want to understand, well, because I like to figure out, because sometimes I don't know if I'm tripping or not, like I'll be seeing some weird shit going on, and then I'm looking around and everybody's acting like that it's normal. And I'm thinking, wait a second, is this normal? Or am I tripping and this is actually normal? Or is this like really weird and everybody's just pretending that it's normal, Like what the fuck? And the only way to gauge what's happening is by feedback from others. I really appreciate feedback from others because it helps me figure out like what the fuck, am I tripping? Am I tripping? Or not, right? And so that's what's fun, can be fun about doing live streams. So like a little bit about the last live stream, I was going into the protocols of Zion, and I was talking about, well, dude, like I read the protocols of Zion, and the protocols of Zion say this, this, and this, and this, and because the protocols of Zion say these things, in turn, that shows that a lot of people are not fucking educated on the protocols of Zion. A lot of people who claim to be educated on the protocols of Zion are totally fucking stupid because they don't even mention this, and this is a big part of the protocols. And I'm like, I don't know, am I tripping or am I fucking calling shit for what it is? And somebody in the comments who is actually, a Jewish problem questioner agreed with me. He's like, even though we might disagree on some stuff, he's like, yes, you're right. The protocols of Zion do say that. And yes, you make a really valid point that even though the protocols of Zion say this, all these people that are all about the Jews discussion, they never talk about it ever. And that's a really good point that, yeah, that's really weird that nobody ever talks about it. I'm like, see, I know I'm fucking right. Anyways, whatever. All right, let me calm down a little bit in case anybody is watching. So anyhow, yeah, all right. So it's the new year. I guess it's 2026. They say. Doesn't matter to me if it's. I don't know. Might as well be 2026. Why not, right? So happy New Year. And so I'm playing music in the background. I want to see if I'm going to get a copyright for this music. I think it'd be funny if I do. Whatever. And I probably don't have any viewers. That's okay though. That's all right. So yeah, I'll turn this down some more so I can listen to myself think. So anyway, all right. So the big thing is the Minnesota Somalians stealing all the tax dollars. And I don't know how long I'm going to do this live stream. This could be a dud live stream. I don't care. But dude, this is just another contradictory story that doesn't make sense. And I'm going to see if I can explain myself. I may not be able to. I don't know. But it is. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. And so I'll just kind of go into, I guess, some of the more obvious uh, glitches with this story. Okay. And that is that this is happening everywhere. Just in this country. Okay. All this fraud that allegedly is going on with the Somalians in Minnesota. This is happening in every state, and it's not just Somalians, it's fucking Americans. And because the whole social services system is completely corrupted. And this is what's funny. This is what's funny about this. So I guess I'll pose the question. If this like fucking fraud has happened, all this fraud with social services to the tunes of billions and billions of taxpayer dollars is happening in every fucking state in the country, why would anybody get all like serious about the Minnesota incident? Like, OMG, in Minnesota, Tim Waltz and the Somalians, OMG, hundreds of millions of dollars. See, the only person who would really like trip out on this is a person who doesn't know that this is happening in every state in this country. The entire social services system is a massive massive scam. Like, it's a scamdemic. Okay, let's go over what social services am I talking. I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about the homeless service provider field, like homeless shelters, all this homeless stuff. These are all fraudulent programs that are stealing all these taxpayer dollars and claiming that they're providing homeless services for homeless Americans, and they're not. Okay, and this is happening in every state to the tune of billions of dollars. Okay, and that's just the homeless service provider field. I mean, you can go down the list. All these sex trafficking organizations that are supposed to help victims of sex trafficking, like victims of sex trafficked children, they're all doing the same thing that the Somalians in Minnesota are doing. They're ripping off all your tax dollars, telling you that they're fighting child sex trafficking, and they're not. And it's the same. Like, go down the list of all these different social services, these federally funded social services. What do they call that? What is that called? Medi-Cal. That's like the California version of Obamacare. All the Obamacare is all a scam. Like, the whole fucking thing is a massive scam. And so it really is. I know it sounds crazy, and I know it's really easy to look at me and say, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, fine, believe whatever you want. This is all social services is a fucking scam to steal the money, steal the people's money. That's all it is. None of these programs that are supposed to help homeless people ever do anything except for steal money. None of these programs, dude. The programs that are supposed to save the sex trafficked children, none of them do anything but steal federal money. All these programs designed to save the sex trafficked children, they're all federal. That's all federal money. They apply for these federal monies through grants, and then the federal money, or the federal government gives them money so that they can build their child sex trafficking organization that's supposed to save the sex trafficked children. And none of them ever do anything. They don't do anything at all except for steal the money from the federal government. And that's all these different programs. help the homeless programs, help the women's empowerment programs, all these transgender and LGBT programs that are supposed to provide all these social services, every last one. You go down the list of all of them. They're all doing the exact identical thing that the Somalians in Minnesota are doing. And it's really, and this is what I'm saying, like, see, I've known this for a long time because I worked in the homeless service provider field for 10 years. And you get to see everything from behind the curtain. It's all evil. It's all fucking, it's pure evil. So when all this has been going on for decades and nobody's ever said shit about any of it, the only thing people have ever said about any of this stuff is that all those people that these social services are designed to help are all a bunch of lazy, mentally ill, drug-addicted, criminal, vagrant degenerates, and they refuse the services because they want to do drugs. And that's all anybody has ever said about these social service programs. Meanwhile, the people running these social service programs are stealing all this federal money, and nobody ever talks about that until recently, right? But instead of talking about it in a general way, it's hyper-focused on specifically the Somalians in Minnesota. As if white Americans aren't doing this exact fucking same thing. So, and that's pretty much it. So, this big deal about these Somalians doing this in Minnesota, it's a big nothing burger story. And nothing's ever going to change. One of the reasons nothing is ever going to change is because they're not telling you the whole story. They're just telling you about the part of the story where it's happening with Somalians in Minnesota. That's not the whole story. The whole story is the entire social services system is nothing but a massive, gigantic, fraudulent system that steals everybody's money all the time and lies and says, oh, we provide all these services for these people that are in need. It's like the biggest fucking I have alleged, and I still believe that this is the biggest scam going on, more than any other scam. Like it's really sad. And what makes it even more sad is that, you know, they're using the Somalian incident in Minnesota as like this is some isolated incident that is only happening in Minnesota, like, and only with like the colored people of Somalia. Like, wow, they always inject race into everything because they know that that's one of the easiest ways to divide people is inject race. Oh, the Somalians are at it again. The Jews are at it again. That way people don't look at the class warfare. They want to prevent class consciousness. Dude, the government have been allowing, just as these Somalians as an example in Minnesota, the American government are the ones that have been allowing this whole time. Hey, what's up? It goes both ways. Exactly. Yeah. And what? You single? Yeah, I'm single. And anyways, yeah, it goes both ways. Like, and so yeah, the race thing it's all just race bait shit, you know. And it's just, you know, it gets really old to me. They the mob. If you play without paying, you're screwed. To me, oh yeah, they're the mob. Fuck yeah, they're the real mob. If you play without paying, you're screwed. Yeah, no, they're the real mob. Yeah, all this shit, all these movies about the mob and stuff, they're nothing compared to the government or whatever. But anyways, yeah. So this is a tired old fucking story, the Somalia thing, and it's just bullshit, more bullshit. You know, like I was talking I did a video earlier today, and I was talking. It's the same as like the Epstein file story. How long has this Epstein file story been going on? Since before COVID, the Epstein file story. nothing has ever been done about it, yet they go on and on about it, fucking constantly, nonstop. Epstein, Epstein, read all about it. And they've never done shit about it at all. And it's the same with every other story. So the Somalia thing in Minnesota is just another one of these bullshit stories that nothing is ever going to be done about it. And, so whatever, But yeah, no, this has been... So anyways, it just annoys me. So I don't know what else there is really to say about that. Really, but that's what's been the big story, So when I kind of like look at social media, whatever, that's what everybody's talking about. And so I worked in social services for 10 years, and you get to see behind the scenes. It's all corrupt, and everybody's doing it. So like the whole nonprofit sector in a general way. Let me read the comment, but I'll read these comments. The whole nonprofit sector is all a massive scam, just like the corporate sector. Corporate and profit work hand in hand with government. To me, they're the mob. The wrong side was getting the cut, so the current government is mad. Yeah, and I know you're not justifying it. I totally know, bro. I know. It's fucking bullshit, but I just, they're never going to stop with this bullshit, and there's nothing anybody can say because they control the media. Whoever these people are, they control the media down to the internet and everything, and so they're just going to say whatever they're going to say, which is crazy. But yeah, like, so the thing with Somalia and all that, this is all about the nonprofit sector. So the big story with Minnesota and the Somalians, they're all running nonprofit kind of government funded operations. Okay. And, I wanted to kind of go into this a little bit because I've talked about it a lot before. Nonprofit and corporate, they work hand in hand. So nonprofit is, they're like, they pronounce to the community, hey, we're here to help people, right? When they're not. They're there to get money. That's it. They're there to get money, and that's it. But they're lying, man. They're like putting this banner that we're here to help the people. And then corporations are kind of like, they're like good cop, bad cop. The corporations are like, we're here to make money, so fuck off, buy our shit. And if you don't like it, fuck off. And so that's how corporations are. And then nonprofits are like the opposite in a sense, where they're like, we're here to help the people. We're against corporations. It's all bullshit, dude. And then, and so what's funny is I've talked about this a lot before. And I just think I feel like people really need to open their eyes. Okay, if you look at the job market in the United States of America, at least 75% of all jobs in the United States of America are either corporate jobs, nonprofit jobs, or government jobs. And that's a conservative estimate. And so it's likely it's more like 90 or more % of all U.S. jobs are corporate jobs, government jobs, and nonprofit jobs. And when you look at this, like, so you're looking at all jobs in the U.S. That's it. That's pretty much all jobs in the U.S. You can either go work for a nonprofit, which what do nonprofits do? They just steal people's money. That's all they do. They don't do anything to help the community. All nonprofits do is steal money. And I know this sounds hard to believe for some people, and nothing I can say will convince them. But this is the truth. All nonprofits do is steal money, hiding behind a do-goodism banner. We're here to help the people. We're here to save the sex-trafficked children. We're here to help the homeless. It's all a lie. All they're doing is stealing money, just like these Somalians in fucking Minnesota. It's all the same. That's all they're doing, dude. And it's everywhere. That's all the nonprofit sector is. And so like 10% of all U.S. jobs you can go work for one of these nonprofit organizations that all they do is steal money. Okay? Then the government jobs, that's only 15% of all US jobs is government jobs. Well, yeah, no, I'm not kidding you, bro, really. And so so you got 10% of all jobs are nonprofit jobs, like the Somalian nonprofit stuff going on in Minnesota. That's 10% of all US jobs. Then 15% of all US jobs are government jobs. Okay, so what does that come to? 25% of all US jobs are either nonprofit jobs or government jobs. Okay, and these are conservative estimates. And then corporate jobs, 50%, this is a conservative estimate, 50% of all US jobs are corporate jobs. So corporations own the government, right? I mean, you know, this is just the way it is. Corporations own the government. That's the way it works. And so 50% of all US jobs are corporate jobs, and the corporations own the government. And then 15% of all US jobs are government jobs, which is government and corporation go hand in hand. And then 10% of all US jobs are nonprofit jobs, like the stuff going on in Minnesota with the Somalians. Nonprofit, it's all the same. It's all the same. And these are conservative estimates. So a conservative estimate is 75% of all US jobs are these garbage jobs. Okay? Just like back in the day, railroads. Oh yeah, East India Company. Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about the East India Company, but railroads is the same, dude. Like back in the day, they used the railroads to just steal fucking American money, dude. Like they stole all the land and money, and fucking this small group of people got mega rich while everybody else got fucked. And that was back in the fucking early 1800s, late 1700s. Nothing fucking changes. But the thing that's crazy is, so 75% of all jobs are corporate jobs, government jobs, and nonprofit jobs. But this is a conservative estimate. So, and that's what I'm saying. It's pretty much all jobs in the US. And they all work hand in hand. Corporations own the government. So government and corporations work hand in hand. And then nonprofit is funded by the government. And so all these three things, they all work together. And that's all jobs. Practically all jobs in the US. So basically all of us that are employed, we all work for the state. We're just state workers. Whether we work for the nonprofit, we're funded by the government. We work a government job. We're owned by corporations. We work a corporate job. Even if it's just a janitor cleaning toilets, we work for a corporation. It's just a bunch of government workers. That's all this is. You know what I'm saying? These are the problems. Corporations are the problems. Corporations are they're destroying capitalism. Whether you believe in capitalism or not, corporations have fucking completely raped any idea of capitalism. This is a corporatist state, not a capitalist state. And so corporations and government are the problem. And the nonprofit are funded by the government. And so nonprofit has to do the bidding of the government, which is owned by corporations. And that is virtually all jobs in America. So, I mean, and what's crazy to me is I look at homeless people, and I'm not trying to put homeless people on a pedestal, so don't get me wrong. But homeless people are the only people that aren't fucking working for the state, And right or wrong, they might be crazy. They might be, you know what I mean? Or whatever people want to say about homeless people, at least homeless people aren't fucking working for the very system that's fucking us all in the ass all day, every day. They're the only ones rejecting it. Whether they're forced to reject it or they choose to, or it's some combination, at least they're the only ones seemingly doing any good. And so it's funny to me, man. But anyways, I'm just kind of going on about the Somalia thing. But that's what, like this Somalia stuff in Minnesota, it's all about nonprofits. Like the child daycare is getting funded by the government, by the federal government. All these health insurance things that the Somalians in Minnesota are supposedly running, they're all funded by the federal government, And that's all nonprofit shit. But no, they're trying to make it a race thing with the Somalians. Such bullshit, bro. It's such bullshit. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and, like defend races. I'm not into the whole race thing at all. It's all dumb. It's all bullshit. Like George Carlin said, they keep the people divided so that the ruling class keep everybody divided so that the ruling class, can continue to run off with all the fucking money. And if they're going to use race to keep everybody divided, that's what they're going to do. They'll use anything. The masked versus the unmasked, the vaxxed versus the unvaxxed, any and everything they use to divide people, bro. Like, there's this saying that I steal. It says, look around, what do you see? People breaking off into warring factions, each group saying to the other, we're right and you're wrong. And just like George Carlin said, the ruling class keeps everybody divided into factions, divided factions, so that the ruling class, can continue to run off with all the money. And it's globalism and shit. The only color that matters when we're talking about race, the only color that matters is green, money. And everybody knows this. But the media, all media, pushes this race thing all the time. And if you think, if somebody tries to debate how I'm wrong, all you got to do is take one look at all this bullshit about the Jews. It's the Jews. It's the Jews. It's the Jews, stupid. It's like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And so, and like, that's an example. I'm not going to sit here and defend Israel and the Jews. Israel is a corrupted global power structure, just like the United States of America is a corrupted global power structure. China is a corrupted global power structure. Russia, whatever. It's all the same. It's all relative. So I'm not sitting here trying to defend the Jews or whatever, but what the fuck, dude? We live in the United States of America. It's a corrupt global power structure, just like Israel. So fucking what, And everybody goes along with it. Everybody goes and gets their corporate job, and everybody goes and gets their government job, and everybody goes and gets their nonprofit job. If you really want to stand against all this shit, go fucking stop working for corporations. Stop working for the government. Stop working for nonprofit. Go be fucking homeless. You're doing more to resist the system than you are working some job as a fucking 9-to-5 stiff. And I'm guilty too. I work, I work too, But no, I'm not buying it, dude. Just like this story, this Minnesota story. So what? So what that's happening in Minnesota, in some city in Minnesota? Dude, that's happening all across the nation. The entire social services nonprofit sector is exactly what's happening in Minnesota. That's the entire nation. And it's not just Somalians, it's white people, it's people of every fucking race. Everybody's doing this shit. Nothing changes, there is nothing new. Yeah, the Bible's right again. I don't know what to tell you. You accuse me of preaching and being a Christ cuck. I don't know all I'm saying, I just observe the truth where it is. And there it is. There is nothing new under the sun. There's the truth right there. I don't know. It's in the Bible. I don't know why. Maybe the Bible is where it's at. You know what I mean? So, whatever, bro. But anyways, yeah, bro. Like, no, the Somalia shit, though, man, it's just more bullshit. It really is. It's just more bullshit. And I can't believe that's how controlled all media is. Like when you go on YouTube or BitChute or any of these things, it's all the big story is always the same. The Epstein files, the fucking the Jews and and now the Somalians in Minnesota. Nobody cares to do anything about any of this shit. Nobody does. Yeah, man. That the Beatles were right in that song, Back in the USSR. Back in the USSR. You don't know how lucky you are, boys. It's a brave new world, man. We're back in the USSR. It's all communism. Like the fucking all media is this one massive communist block wall of bullshit. And it's just bullshit story after bullshit story after bullshit story. Like if they really cared about this stuff going on in Minnesota, they'd be investigating the entire nonprofit, all these social services, like the homeless service provider services, the so-called sex traffic organizations that are fighting sex trafficking. They need to investigate everything. I guarantee you, if they did a real investigation, the people would be fucking mind blown. It would start a civil war. If they exposed the truth about all of these social services in this country, the United States of America, it would start a civil war. Because none of these social services are doing shit except for stealing the people's money. And it would cause a fucking civil war overnight. People would be so fucking pissed. They'd have nothing to lose at that point. It's like, what the fuck? So yeah, it's not just happening in Minnesota with Somalians. It's happening nationwide, and everybody's in on it. Everybody that's anybody is in on it, you know? And yeah, I don't condone what's happening in Minnesota, and I think there's truth to a lot of it, because I worked in the homeless service provider field for 10 years in California. All these fucking social services are all the same, bro. They're all the fucking same. And so I'm down for like helping people and giving people a hand up. These social services are not. They're there to steal everybody's money and pretend like they give a fuck. That's all. I'd argue, if I could, yeah, please, all truth. And the word is the ultimate. I agree, bro. I just don't talk about it. I don't talk about it. But you're right. And you got more balls than me to say that. I don't talk about it. And one of the reasons I don't is because all it seems to do is deter people. And I don't want to do a disservice to the truth. And so I just let people come to their own conclusion. But just comment, you're fucking right, bro. The word is the ultimate truth. That's the best conclusion I've been able to come to. And I've been looking around a lot. I've had as objective a view as I possibly can. I've looked into all kinds of shit. Buddhism, fucking Wicca, paganism, and dude, you know what they say? There's a saying that says, you don't choose your God chooses you. Or however you want to look at it. Your religion or your spirituality, you don't choose it. It chooses you. So when I'm looking at all this stuff, trying to find the truth is where it is. And if the truth is in the Bible, then that's where it is, you know? And, you know, a lot of people, they fucking try to argue otherwise. It's like, what the fuck, bro? Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree. I'll defend the atheist, and I'll defend, you know, the only thing I wouldn't defend is Satanism and shit, because you already know the truth. You know what's up. So that's stupid, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, right. He who hath an ear and all that stuff. Yeah. And you know what the thing too is the masses of fake Christians, or whatever you want to call them, I don't even know how to, they're the ones that are turning people off to the truth, you know, with all their fake stuff. And that's another reason why I really don't get real vocal, because you know, you got the media, like when you know, all these people that are in the spotlight that talk about whatever, like the Bible and shit, the majority of them, they're just in it for the money, you know, they're just in it for the money and stuff. And so they're not going to talk about. And that's why I like to talk about poverty, you know, like the Bible places a strong emphasis on caring for the poor, you know. And it's funny when you bring that up to one of these people who claims to be Christian, but for whatever reason they're not. They don't like hearing that the Bible places a strong emphasis on caring for the poor, and they get upset and they start like coping and looking for ways to you know, weasel out of that the Bible places a strong emphasis on caring for the poor. Your average so-called Christian places no emphasis at all on caring for the poor. Like they're talking about the Jews, and they're talking about the Epstein files, and they're talking about any and everything but the truth. They want to look everywhere else. But the fact that the Bible places a strong emphasis on caring for the poor, the majority of all self-proclaimed Christians, they just ignore it like the plague. They don't even want to look at that. They don't want to look at it. And if the preacher in the church starts preaching about the Bible's emphasis on caring for the poor, all them people in the church, they're all going to scatter, and they're going to go find some other church, because their churches are a dime a dozen. And they're going to go find some other church where the preacher isn't talking about the truth, because they're a dime a dozen. They're all over there everywhere. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm reading your comment. I'm on you. I'm on you. Let's see. I just realized that we are sheep and we are surrounded by wolves. Yeah, fucking A. And our shepherd can protect us from them. We are made for this. Yeah. I know, what a trip, right? I consider myself tough street guy. Yeah, no, I bet you probably, I'm sure you are a fucking tough street guy, man. I'm just kind of a garden variety street guy, but yeah, and so yeah, and like I'm around different kinds of people, and everybody kind of has their own beliefs. Some people, and whatever, and so I kind of let people believe what they want. I don't try to push any of my beliefs. And but yeah, I have my own beliefs, and I'll just admit it. Like, dude, when I started really looking into the Bible for myself, instead of listening to what other people told me the Bible said, out of my own curiosity, I started researching what it says myself. And then when I started researching it myself, I was like, whoa, like I believe in, like, these are the convictions that I have been holding myself to, and I didn't even know this was in the Bible. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is the only philosophy or that I've ever found that aligns with mine, And so, what can you do? It is logical, bro. It's like, but people aren't gonna, I don't know. Some ways that I can maybe try to defend it to the naysayer is like like conspiracy theorists like Bill Cooper. And so I'll be like, with conspiracy theorists who always are trying to debunk Christianity and shit, I'll be like, well, what about Bill Cooper? Fucking Bill Cooper, he's all about Christianity and shit. So what, I don't know. It's the debate. I'm not into the debate. I'm not going to debate people. Like, believe whatever the fuck you want, kind of like in the movie The Matrix, when fucking Morpheus is like, here, you can do this or you can do that, and you can take this and believe whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. Or you can take this and I'll show you some crazy shit, man. But yeah, just let people believe what they, and again, like, I'm not against atheists, dude. I've met atheists that are very spiritually minded. And then I've seen stuff in the Bible that implies that too. I'll give you an example, since you kind of look into the Bible. There's one, I'll read your comment in a second, but yeah, like the thing where it says, okay, it's in the Bible where it talks about the guy, and he's wearing the religious robe with all the religious stuff, and he's out in public talking about how important God is and everything. And then it compares it to the man on the street, and it's like, it says, he would not so much as look to heaven, but beat his breast continually, saying, Lord, be merciful unto me, a sinner. And that God had more respect for the person who would not so much as look to heaven, but beat his breast continually. God had more respect for that person than he did the person wearing all the religious shit and like going out and publicly proclaiming it to everybody. And when you think about it, the person that would not so much as look to heaven, it implies like a person who doesn't necessarily believe in God. They're just seeking their heart as to what's the right thing. And they're seeking to, for help, like that, to do the right thing. And so it doesn't necessarily matter if a person is necessarily atheist or convicted to a specific religion. It's what's in their heart, And it said that the guy wouldn't so much as look to heaven, but he sought his heart continually, asking, be merciful. Like I'm because I'm a sinner. Like I'm fucked up. Like I'm a flawed, failed human being, and they're seeking their heart. Like, how do I correct my flaws? As a so yeah. And so I'm not against necessarily like people believe whatever you want. The only thing I would is Satanists. Like, even if they're just dabbling in it innocently because they think Satanism doesn't mean what it means, and like, I stay away from them people because they're dangerous motherfuckers. Not in like a badass way. They're dangerous. It's like they're so fucking stupid that they're potentially gonna cause all kind of fucking crazy shit, But so I'm gonna read your comments real quick. Yeah, the word logic. That's right, logic. That's what it comes down to. Exactly. That's do unto others. That's totally logical. Like, yeah, do unto others all that you believe. Yeah, exactly right. God loves humility, just like the 10 lepers Jesus cured. Only one said thank you. Yeah, and humility, man, that shit ain't easy to come by. Humility isn't easy to come by, and also, everybody frowns on humility. Your average person looks at someone who has humility and looks at them like they must be gay or they must be retarded. It's humility is not something that people put a great emphasis of value on in today's society, which is another thing. The Bible says that shit too. All these things that are important, the society we live in doesn't place any value on them at all. So yeah, it all goes back to logic and common sense, Yeah, he must be weak because he carries himself with humility. Yeah. And really, people that are humble, those are the ones you want to watch. You don't want to fuck with a humble person, man. I'm telling you, bro. Like, people are so stupid. They think that a humble person is weak and they fuck with them. And there is no, I wouldn't, no way, bro. You don't fuck with humble people because they'll fuck you up, bro. Because they got God on their side and shit, man. So, but no, like spirituality or whatever, I don't know. There's all different kind of words for it, and I've got friends that are Christian and I love them, and I don't know. I mean, like I said earlier, like that's the only thing that makes any sense to me. I'm just concerned because a lot of people say they're Christian and they're not, and so I just don't really necessarily say that I'm Christian. And but I have friends that are Christian and I love them, man. They're fucking awesome people, I love them. And I have friends that are atheists and I love them. And I got friends that are, they get into Buddhism and stuff, and fine, whatever works for you. But spirituality is like fucking a big important thing. It's like it's very important spiritual stuff. And for me anyways, I can only speak for myself, but so like the whole spiritual kind of stuff, whether you want to reference it as religion or whatever, like all that kind of spiritual stuff, like for me it was like if I didn't figure out spirituality for myself, I'm looking fucking dying or something. It's like get spiritual or die, motherfucker. So I was kind of forced to start looking into different spiritual stuff as part of my self-preservation. I had to learn that in life. You may have too. I wouldn't be surprised. But I had to, in order for self-preservation, I had to start seeking spiritual concepts and stuff, and to find what I could use for myself. And so that's when I started looking into whatever. Just I would try to have an open mind, and I look into all this different stuff: Buddhism, paganism, whatever stuff was out there, Native American spiritual stuff, and it isn't that I'm against any one or other, but it was the book, bro, the word, bro, that was the one, and I just accidentally discovered it, and I was like, what the fuck? Because I always listen to what everybody said that the word says. So I never really, truly looked into it for myself. And you know what's crazy about that? What everybody says, the Bible says, isn't even what it says. And I'm sure you've experienced this too. Like, what are you even talking, So that's why I was so shocked to find what I found. It's like, wait a second, everybody was telling me that the Bible said blah, 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 blah. Even the self-proclaimed Christians, they're telling me the Bible says this, and I look at it for myself, and no, it doesn't. It aligns more with what I'm saying than what they're saying. So, anyways, it's crazy, bro. Fucking crazy shit, man. Yeah, right. Two of my best friends, which we hate calling each other that, but one is ex-Mormon, yeah, agnostic, yeah. The other is agnostic. I love it. Great. Oh, yeah, yeah. I pray. I am used to turn them. Yeah, and even if you may not necessarily need to turn them. That's what's interesting, like about agnosticism. You know, like people might look at not at agnosticism as a maybe kind of a bad thing or something. But the thing that I have kind of like looked at it, the angle I look at it from is so an agnostic is like basically saying they don't really know. Like there's no proof for the existence of God, but there's also no proof for the non-existence of God. And so the agnostic is just like there's no proof either way. The thing that's interesting about that though is like many religions, including Christianity, places a lot of emphasis on faith. And faith implies that we aren't going to necessarily have proof one way or the other, and we're going to have to make a decision based on faith. And so that's very similar to the agnostic, because the agnostic is looking and saying, I don't see no proof either way. And what faith implies is that to make a decision, even when there is no proof one way or the other, it requires faith, you know? So, and yeah, so that's what kind of, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so you know what I'm saying. So it's crazy, man. And I got friends that are agnostic and like, I'm the same, like you know, and so, and it's all cool, man. Like, I feel like I learn a lot from people, you know, even I guess you can learn a lot from a dummy. Like I look at a Satanist or something, you know, it's like, whoa, bro, like, I don't know, that's weird, Satanism. So I stay away from the Satanists. That's all. I don't even care. You hear, I'm gonna read your comment. It's like you hear the Satanist who says, oh, Satanism isn't about eating babies and drinking babies' blood and stuff. No, it's just about being free and, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's like those people, it's like, all right, dude, I don't even care if they're right. It's like, dude, you sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me. Like, I don't know, man. So I stay away from them. If there is proof, there would be no, exactly. Yeah. And so the agnostic, you got to have, you know, like I'll only speak for myself. I got to have the understanding for the agnostic, because I myself am an agnostic. I don't necessarily have proof one way or the other, except for my own experience. And even my own experience, it's all just, you know, what I've experienced, and I can only draw from that. And we can all have distorted views on stuff and everything else. And so I might think I'm talking to God when really, who knows who the fuck I'm talking to. And, you know, so, and that's why it's like, for me, it's important to have people in my life, because if I might start thinking that I'm talking to God, maybe I'm not. And if I have some kind of spiritual advisor who maybe has more experience and wisdom than me, I can check in with them and be like, hey, dude, I think God was talking to me and he said, la, la, la. And if I have like a spiritual advisor or somebody who's wiser than me to run it by, they can say, well, bro, I don't know, man. And maybe so, maybe not. You might want to like think about it before you act on that shit, right? It's funny, yet if there is proof, there be no faith. Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah. But anyways, no, this is cool. I'm glad that you participate, because then it gives me something to talk about. Like we're on the similar page for sure, man. And I know, like I probably kind of rug people the wrong way. I cuss and whatever and all this and stuff, and I don't really go into talking too much about my own personal convictions regarding God versus the non-existence and all that stuff, and you know, I don't know, like people, whatever, everybody has their own flavor and style, and I can only reach certain audiences. You know, I I'm not gonna sit here and try to fool myself into thinking that I can reach, you know, a general audience. Like my audience is people who come from similar situations as me, and that's why I love street people, and I'm all about home. I'm down for the underdog and the homeless and shit, because you know, those are my people. That's kind of my tribe or whatever. And yeah, so and those are people, like, if I do have any wisdom to pass on, first I have to remember it's not of any virtue of mine, it's a gift. And that if I do pass it on, like, I know I have a good idea of who I might be able to pass it on to, as opposed to people that they're just gonna like reject it, be like, dude, fuck you, you know. And so I get it, man. Whatever. This is my fellowship for today. All right, bro. I'm out too. Yeah, fucking great talking to you, bro. And I'll be, you know, I'll be back. So, all right, boys. I'm about to get out of here. I gotta take this shit off. But this was another fun live stream for me, and I had some participants, so that was fucking awesome. And anyways, so we'll see you on the next one. See you, boys. Yeah.